Good afternoon. I decided it was time for another vlog since it's been a while. And today I wanted to talk about something that I've been getting a lot of questions on and something that I've written about in the past on my blog that resonated with a lot of people. So my own personal path to dermatology and why I chose this field. So let's begin. To explain how I got into dermatology, I kind of have to back up a little bit. I had a really good family friend who was an ophthalmologist growing up, which is an eye surgeon. And all throughout my childhood, he would tell me how ophthalmology was such a great field and how I would be a great fit for it. Some of you may not know, but I grew up playing piano since the age of 4. So I'm good with my hands. And he said that, I would make a really great surgeon. Plus, ophthalmology surgeries tend to be clean, bloodless, and you make a big difference in people's lives. So based off of his influence, I went into medical school kind of thinking that I was going to do ophthalmology. I think I was the TA of the pre-ophtho medical student club. I also did 3 years of basic science research, imaging mouse eyes using optical coherence tomography. That was kind of cute, actually. I would make little contact lenses and fit them onto mouse eyes and then image their eyes and look at the different layers of their eyes. I also volunteered in undergrad in Ghana, helping out at eye clinics in Tamale and in Accra. Basically, I was on this path to go into ophthalmology, and then after my year off, I was still on this road, and then I finally did the rotation. And at Stanford, we did 2 months of ophtho. I did my general clinical rotation, and then I did a month of research. And I realized that, shockingly, I didn't love the surgery. I almost feel a little bad saying that now, but I'm just being completely honest. That was kind of a, oh my God, what am I going to do moment, because it was the end of my 3rd year. I was about to apply into ophtho just 3 months later. So at that point, I kind of reached out to a lot of my mentors and I said, help, what do I do? What should I choose? Give me some guidance. And one of my mentors from undergrad actually wrote back to me and he said, well, have you ever considered dermatology? I wrote back and I said, actually no. I've heard it's super, super competitive and you have to be pre-derm from day 1 going into med school, which I definitely wasn't. I just don't think that I would be a good candidate. And he said, well, at the very least, you can do a rotation and see if you like it. This was June of my 3rd year. So the last month of my 3rd year, I decided to do my very first dermatology rotation. To make a long story short, I basically fell in love with the field. Not only were all of the residents and all of the faculty so nice and so interested genuinely in the subject matter and enthusiastic about teaching, but I also just loved the actual field. I loved the different diseases that we see. I loved how everything was very visual. Someone comes in with a rash, eczema, psoriasis, infection, you name it, and you can see it. Your main tool in diagnosis is using your eyes and your fingers so that you can touch it. And if you don't know what something is, you could biopsy it. And then you could also be the one to look under the microscope at your biopsy specimen to see what it shows. For all of those reasons, dermatology kind of appealed to me. I needed to make a decision. I knew there were a couple basic things that I wanted and that I didn't want. First, I didn't want to do something that was primarily surgical. Personal preference. Secondly, I wanted tended to be more healthy patient population. And that's also personal preference. I had spent time in the ICU as a medical student, actually in the pediatric ICU, and it really affected me. Third, I wanted to do something that was genuinely interesting to me. I mean, that's so broad. And maybe you're the type of person who's interested in a lot of things, but I wasn't interested in that many things, so I needed to find something that I genuinely liked. All right, so at that point, I fell in love with derm, and I needed to have a very honest conversation with myself. If you don't match this year, what would you do? Because there's a very high probability chance that I wasn't going to match since I decided so late. And I thought, you know what? It's worth it. If I don't match, I'll take a year off and then take my chances and apply again. So at that point, I started trying to get to know the faculty in the dermatology department. I sent out tons of emails to every faculty member in Northern California, so at Stanford, UCSF, and UC Davis, doing any research that I was interested in. Luckily, one faculty member from UCSF wrote back to me, and one faculty member from Stanford also wrote back to me. And I was able to put together a little project. So after getting to know a couple of the faculty members and doing a little bit of research, I thought, this is it. I want to keep going. I ended up doing another month, so a second month rotation at the Stanford Dermatology clinics as a sub-intern. And then I did a 1 month away rotation at San Francisco General Hospital, which is, as you know, like a pretty crazy, hectic county hospital. Both of those were incredible experiences. I just really enjoyed the patient population. I enjoyed doing the small procedures that we did in clinic. And I found the diseases that we dealt with in dermatology very interesting. I applied very, very broadly. I'm not even going to go into how stressful that period was because I wrote like a very personal account of it on my blog. So you can actually find that here on my blog address below. I just want to say that now that I have a year of dermatology under my belt, I am just so thankful and so happy that I'm in this field because I realize that every day when I go into work, I actually feel excited. I feel excited to learn. I feel excited to help people improve their skin, and I love learning about derm. This makes me sound like a total nerd, I know, but it's really exciting to me that I finally found something that I am genuinely interested in and really, really like. The other part that I wanted to mention, because a lot of people, don't want to talk about this for whatever reason, is the lifestyle component. Lifestyle is important. And I guess another criteria that I had in choosing dermatology is that it is a family-friendly field. So someone on a previous video blog had asked me, is dermatology a good lifestyle specialty? So I think the best way to answer this question is to actually tell you what my day is like. Typical dermatologists work between 9 till 5 or 6 or 7, depending on how many patients they want to see. But at least right now as a resident, I work around 9 to 5:30 on a typical day. Maybe more like 9 to 5. There's a lot of studying involved and a lot of follow-up that goes on outside of clinic, but I have to say the lifestyle is very good. And there are not very many derm emergencies, so it's rare that you get called in the middle of the night. Overall, I love dermatology. And if you are interested in derm, I suggest you to go for it because you will not regret this decision. And I advise you to check out my blog, twithmd.com, or follow me on my Instagram or Snapchat, where I snap about lots of skincare related things. So you can learn more about me and about your skin. Thanks for watching.